Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR. Before we start today's program and introduce today's guest, I just want to report something very exciting. Member Focus Monday won 2018 Marketing Program of the Year from Texas Realtors, so we're very excited about that. With that, I just want to say a quick thank you to the entire Member Focus Monday team. We've been doing this for about a year now, and it wouldn't be what it is today without them. Also, of course, thank you to all of you, our loyal members who watch every week. We do this for you, so thank you. With that, good morning.
Good morning. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much. So with us this morning, we have Shawn Dauphine, Director of MLS. Shawn, if you want to just introduce yourself really quick, what you do and how long you've been with HAR.
Yeah, so I'm the Director of MLS here at HAR. I've been here about 20 years now, just past my 20-year anniversary, I guess, in 2018. It's been quite a while. So I'm in charge of the overall operations of the multiple listing service. One of my duties in that role is to manage the contract with our vendor CoreLogic, who manages Matrix and RealList. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So.
Okay. Very good. So we wanted to have you on because, again, we know there's some changes that are coming. And in promoting this, we mentioned that we are continually looking at these programs. You and your team are continually looking at these programs that we use, RealList, Matrix, et cetera, to improve them, right? So that's right. Kind of what we wanted to talk about today. Starting with Matrix 360, we've been talking a little bit about Matrix 360 over the last year. Can you tell us how it's different from the current version of Matrix that we're using?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've been on Matrix now for a little over a year since we turned Tempo off. And that system, just like Tempo, will continue to evolve over the years. We've got an advisory group that, looks at where the industry is going, what's changes in the market, feedback from members, and it's always trying to make that system better. So the next version of the system is called Matrix 360, as you explained. Mm-hmm. And the main advantage is really bringing in all of the public records data from RealList into the Matrix system. So all of that data is in one platform now. So no longer do you need to rely on Flash to open up RealList. So it's a little bit more mobile friendly. So you can access all the tax information from within Matrix and within an iPad or other mobile devices.
Okay.
And I think we're going to be able to take a look at some of this online here.
We are actually gonna pull that up. Do you want to go ahead and look at that now?
Sure, let's take a look. We've got Claudia here driving in the studio. So Claudia, if you can bring up the Matrix 360. This is Toledo, Ohio. So this is another market. They run Matrix as well. Their vendor is CoreLogic, so you'll see a very familiar system that you're used to here in Houston. So if you go and we're going to search public records. So this is how you would do a tax search inside of Matrix with the new 360. Rather than going to RealList, all the search fields that you're familiar with in RealList will be on this page. The few that aren't there, you can add fields just like you do in a Matrix search. So she's just going to search for the last name Smith and pull up some public records data. So again, a very familiar interface. The learning curve on the system is very low because it is Matrix. If you know how to use Matrix, you're going to know how to use the tax portion of this system. Mm-hmm. So basically, these are one-liner tax reports, and so you can adjust the columns. You can add columns just like you can in Matrix. If you want to go ahead and click on a property ID, we'll show you the detail page of that tax. So again, very familiar tax detail page, just like you're familiar with in RealList. In fact, there's a link there to RealList if you do need to go into the RealList application as well. So go ahead and let's just do a regular property search. So if you search and you just do say residential, so this is very familiar to Matrix users. So go ahead and just hit on the results tab there and pull up some listings.
And again, you mentioned that their search, this is set up a little bit different than ours, so it will look more familiar to.
Yeah, this is a little different. Every implementation of Matrix across the country, and they have over 300 clients, they're all a little bit different. So very familiar, but all set up and configured a little bit differently.
Yeah, so if this looks different to you guys, it's supposed to, right?
Right, this is not our MLS, but it's one very similar. So click on an ML number. So we're going to bring up a detail page now of a listing.
Okay.
So very familiar. One of the new things they've added are the tabs across the top there. So now you can easily click into a tax profile without, again, loading RealList. So this works directly on the iPad. So
which was something very necessary since the internet's basically getting rid of Flash.
Well, exactly. Right? I mean, Flash is going away. RealList will be available for some time in parallel. We have not heard when exactly they're going to be decommissioning that software, but I would imagine at some point in the future it will go away, but I think for the next year or so, you'll definitely be able to access real lists along with this. So some of the new features here are the parcel map. So Claudia, if you could highlight the parcel map. So straight from the matrix detail page, you'll be able to click into a parcel map. There's actually a satellite map, a parcel map, and then your standard map all on one page here.
Very nice.
And then there's also a flood map. So when you click into the flood map, it's going to put in the flood layer and drill into that particular property.
Very good.
This information is already available on the matrix map search, but it's just a little easier to get to.
Yeah, a lot more streamlined.
Yeah, right here on the detail page. So really, Matrix 360, it is a new version upgrade. However, the learning curve is very simple. It's really the big portion is we're bringing in the public records into Matrix. One thing I am hopeful for is now that CoreLogic has all of their clients on Matrix. We were the last one in the country to switch to Matrix. Now that they have all the clients on the system, then I'm hopeful for more changes in the future. So 360 is the first real version change, but in the future we should see some other aspects of the system enhanced.
Very good. Okay, so we've had many versions, like you said, of Matrix already. We've been on Matrix a little over a year. As far as updates, I mean, to different things within the program. Are there any updates coming soon to search forms or anything like that we should be aware of?
Yeah, there is one aspect of the system, the rooms feature inside of Matrix, which can cause some issues when you're searching for multiple features at one time. For example, if you wanted to search for two bedrooms up and one bedroom down, sometimes the search logic does not handle that very well.
Okay.
So we've taken a lot of feedback from members, and we're going to be adding some new fields to help describe rooms. So you'll have a kitchen description, a bathroom description, a bedroom description, and a room description field. That will be added with a number of choices within those fields. And Claudia, can you bring up the room feature sheet? I'll give you an example. It's the other
slide. Oh, that's the other
one. There we go. I don't know. My screen's a little blurry here. I'm not sure what they're seeing, if they're able to see it.
I can read it though.
Okay, so you can see that there's a bathroom description with a number of values that you can select. You can select one or all of them if the property has all those features. So bathroom description, bedroom description, room description, and we even added a few fields or a few value choices inside of the flooring and the interior features field. So these were some choices you didn't have before. In regards to, I guess, what are those flooring fields? Wood and tabertine, yes.
Will it let you scroll down a little bit, Claudia? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, but they actually see full. It's just us that don't see it.
Full? Yeah. Okay.
So flooring, bamboo, engineered wood, travertine, and then the interior features.
That's right.
Balcony crown molding, formal entry foyer, wired for sound.
Exactly.
Now we see it.
So again, once you when these are implemented, and we're looking at late April, early May for these room descriptions to be in. When you add a listing inside of Matrix, where you typically enter the rooms today, you'll see these new fields and the new choices that you're able to add and identify your listing as such. And then users will have these on the search screen so they can search by these features.
That's great. That's really great. Okay, so something that's already within Matrix that you guys added are Terradatum reports. Can you tell us about the Terradatum reports?
That's right. Some of you may remember we had these 3-year trend reports that we generated in-house back when we were with Tempo. And when we converted over to Matrix, those reports did not port over. So we've been working with Terradatum to kind of reproduce these reports, and we've done so, and we've implemented those inside of Matrix. And so those are available for every member on every detail page. Claudia, if you can bring up a Matrix detail page, we'll show them how to access those links and take a preview of those reports.
Claudia's our off-screen Vanna this morning. Should be the...
So here you can see this is the Houston MLS. And so for every city, county, market area, or zip code, there are stat reports available. So she's going to click on the market area of the Woodlands.
And I think it's already up there for, yeah.
And then what it does is it brings up this 3-year trends report. So you can see for the past 3 years by month, the number of closed listings but also available are several other stat reports in this package. So Claudia, if you can, next to closed listings, you can also click new listings. So you can see how many new listings were entered in the system for the Woodlands or any other market area for that matter for the last 3 years. So they've got new listings, pending listings, average days on market, median sales price,
Okay.
average price per square foot, sales price to original price ratio, and month supply. And you see how quickly these load. All that data is being pulled in. It takes a little while on the initial load, but once the reports are up, you can easily click between the various reports.
And can you export this data?
So you can. The icon to the right there, there's a little download button. So if you want to click that, Claudia, real quick, we'll just kind of give them an example. You can download one or more of these reports. You don't have to download them all. It creates a PDF report that you can then save to your computer. You can email it to a client.
Okay.
And if you want to change the criteria, the magnifying glass up there at the top right, once you're in these reports, you can easily change it. So maybe you want to search for a different market area, or you want a 1-year report instead of a 3-year report. Maybe you want to search by city. That's the way you change your criteria.
That's great. And that, again, is already in Matrix. You guys can go into a listing detail report, and you'll see it right there. We just clicked on, in this case, we clicked on market area for the Woodlands.
That's right. You could easily click on a zip code if you wanted to do a zip code stat.
That's great. All right. So I know we have a couple questions coming in. If you guys have questions for Shawn, type them into the comments, and we will take a look at those. One other thing, we did have several months back, we had a representative from Remine come on and tell us all about Remine, and she actually did a live demonstration. Can you just give us a brief summary of what is Remine, and then any changes that might be coming to Remine soon as well?
Sure. Remine is a very powerful prospecting tool, I would say. It has most of the public records data from Realist, so they've got all that tax information, but they've also used big data from other data sets to help pull in personal information from those contacts that you're tracking. They also have some HOA data and some flood map data that is interesting to us. So one of the new changes we're looking at doing is doing what we call a deep link into Matrix. So there'll be an icon on the top of your Matrix detail reports. Today, where you click to add or to view photos or tax today.
Yeah, so the tabs across the top.
So the little icon. So there'll be an icon for Remine, and when you click that icon for that particular property, you'll get a detailed report from Remine, and that will show some flood data and HOA data. And I think we have an example of one of those reports. Claudia can pull it up. So again, from every Matrix detail page, you'll be able to directly link into this Remine page, which will show you the flood zone that the property is located in and the FEMA map number, as well as HOA data, which is something
great because we've never had that before. Yeah, that's great.
So again, one of the ideas is, if we're working with these third parties that have information that we don't, how do we easily integrate it into Matrix so that our members are in one interface and can access, a multitude of information without having to go to multiple systems, without having to log into the other systems. These are single sign-on, so you sign on once into the MLS system and you have access to these various reports and third parties' products.
That's great. All right. So let's take a look at any questions coming in from our members. Again, if you have a question for Shawn, just type it in and we'll take a look at it. A couple people saying these are great updates. Ramonica said, this is great. Having these items will make sure we send clients homes that match their needs. So I think that was specific to room description. So Ramonica did ask, when are all these updates coming?
So Matrix 360, we're scheduled for the 1st of April. So the first week of April, we should have the Matrix 360 platform. As you mentioned, the Terradatum links are already available. The deep link to Remine, we will have by the end of March, mid-March. And let's see what else we have. The room features, that'll be early May. So most of these are going to be done by the end of the second quarter, the ones I've talked about.
Nice. So Sissy just made a comment here. Great enhancements, but only as good as what the listing agent enters on the listing. Hopefully they'll be encouraged to put more details and be more accurate.
That's always the case. I hear that. In fact, one area that I think is really underutilized is the photo comments. I mean, we have up to 50 photos now, and you can describe a photo with over 500 characters. I mean, you can really describe a property in the photo description much better than you can with the details of the listing itself. So I would like to see agents take better advantage of that. And I realize, the photo tool inside of Matrix doesn't lend itself very well to adding those descriptions. That's something we're working with CoreLogic to update. now that we are on a single platform, we're hopeful that that's something they'll address.
Absolutely. And other people were also mentioning they have similar experiences. For example, Steven said that he saw a listing on the market for 62 days and it was lakefront, but it wasn't listed as lakefront. So, just things like that. Of course, listing agents try to fill out as much as you can to make it easier, right? So Kelly asked, besides market area and zip code, what other sections can be accessed with the Terra Datum reports?
Besides, you got zip codes, you can do it by county. Actually, once you go in and change your criteria, you can even do it down to the subdivision level. It gets a little wonky just because it's not very consistent the way agents enter it in, as you mentioned. So some might say the woodlands, some might say woodlands. So that's why I prefer market area, because it is it's a table-driven field. So you have to, it's a pick list. You have to actually pick a value rather than just type something in.
Yeah. Will asked, can we create a one-line report for clients similar to the agent one-line default display?
Yeah, I believe there is a one-liner for buyers that exists today, but you certainly can. I mean, the system's flexible where you can build any number of reports and save those reports, whether they're one-liner or otherwise.
Okay. Demetria asked, how did you get to the Remind screen from Matrix? So that's not in there yet. But if you want to explain again where
that's right. So Remind is an application that's available today to all of our subscribers. So if you go log into the member only portal prior to going into Matrix in the little search form, if you just search Remind, you'll be able to pull up the Remind application and you can go in there and start using it today and play around with it. The links inside of Matrix will be available by mid-March, and that will be on a detail report where all of the other icons are located on the top part of that report. You'll see a link to the Remind, and that's how you'll access it from Matrix.
Okay, very good. I don't see any other questions at this time. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, one other thing we are working on is to better integrate the contacts that are in Matrix into the HR.com mobile app. So right now there are two systems. We developed a mobile app prior to moving over to Matrix. And so we're working on a way to, again, when you're in the mobile app, to bring up your contacts, and you'll see all of your Matrix contacts there. And so eventually get to more of a bi-synchronization where we can synchronize those contacts, but initially at least pulling them from Matrix into the mobile app. So that's something we're hope to roll out later on this year.
Yeah, that's something that I know has been highly requested from our members over the years. So that's great that that's something that's coming soon as well. Nicole asked, when making a client showing report, is there a way to move them into the order that you're going to be showing them?
Yeah, you're talking about like a driving directions type report. Yeah, there are. You can change the order on those reports. We also have the HAR driving directions as a second option as well. So it's another tool that helps you do driving directions. You can add a starting point, an ending point, and optimize those directions. So both of those do allow you to drag and drop and move the order of those listings.
Very good. So two people asking similar questions here. Astrid is asking, will there be an extra fee from Remind to access the HOA and flood data? Deanna said isn't it a subscription app? So just asking about the fees there.
No, to access the basic level of data, the HOA, the flood data, the detail reports I showed you, that is all available to every subscriber. Yeah. There is a fee for if you wanted to track more than 100 homes. The idea of prospecting and Remind is that you can track households. So you get 100 is included in the subscription that you have with the MLS. So you can track up to 100 homes, household formation, if there is a divorce or a marriage from anybody in the household. It would notify you and update you on that, like an auto notification of household change. If you want to track more than 100, then you do pay for those additional homes.
Yeah, and you can actually change them at any time. You can track a home and then I don't want to track that one anymore and update it. So it lets you do up to 100.
Right, exactly. Be a different 100 the next week.
Yeah. Okay, there was also, Selena was just asking again if you could repeat, how they're going to be able to get to Remind from Matrix.
So Claudia, can you pull up a Matrix detail page? It may help if they can actually see. Okay, so the icons on top of the picture there where you see TX, CMA, So all of these are links to third-party products. So I don't know how familiar you all are. And that little exclamation in the triangle, that's how you report an MLS violation. So I know a lot of you know where that is because we get a lot of those requests. So right next to that will be a little icon for Remind. And when you click on that, it will open up the Remind report.
But again, you guys can access Remind already. It's just not a direct link.
Right. It's not integrated with Matrix, but inside the member-only portal, you can access the full Remind application.
Very good. Moving back to a couple questions from our members, Cheryl asked, will unit number be searchable as part of the criteria that she's been looking for that for a while and having difficulty with that?
Inside the tax, the real list public records?
She didn't specify tax or, I would guess probably tax.
You know, if it's available in real list, you'll be able to search it here. If it's not available in real list, you may not be able to search it in tax here. We'll take a look at that and see if they can break the unit number out. I know we do on the listing record. So if you're searching for listings, say if it's a rental or a high rise, you can certainly search by unit number for a property listing. So we'll have to check on the tax record and see if they're breaking out that unit number from the address.
Okay. Kathy, and this is more under Taki's umbrella with technology, she's asking about texting in the HAR app. That is actually, I don't know if you want to.
I'll let you.
Okay. I don't want to answer your question for you. So that is actually something that you can already do in your settings in your HAR app. You can turn on to message with the HAR app. And that's available for everybody, but there are additional features for Platinum subscribers. So that's pretty neat. You just need to turn on your notifications for the app. Dimitri was asking back to Remind 100 homes per month. To clarify, it's just 100 homes.
It's 100 homes, so you can track them indefinitely. And if you want to track another set of 100, you would delete those 100 and add the other. I mean, one other aspect of that application is the ability to upload all of your contacts in the database. So say you've got 1,000 contacts, you upload them, and it will show you where everybody lives. Maybe they have multiple houses. So if one of your contact owns 2 or 3 homes, it will show you all the homes they own. And if you decide to track all of those, anytime there's a change in household formation on those contacts, it will notify you.
Okay. So now we're getting some more specific questions from Matrix. One of them, can you please show me how to get to the flood maps from Matrix? That if you just go into the map section, if you click on the map button, there's a layover there for it. But what we showed earlier, that was actually coming right in Matrix.
Right. So the one we showed today, that's going to be part of Matrix 360. So once that is live in early April, you'll be able to click, right from a tab right into Matrix into the particular map. If you want to access it today, like you mentioned, go to the property map and you turn on a layer, the flood map layer, and it will show you basically the same map.
Okay. Ramonica asked, is there a way to share listings from Matrix to social media?
There is. That's a great question. So after you selected your listing in Matrix, down at the bottom there is a text/share tool, and you select that and you can share it on any of your social media, or you can text that listing.
Okay.
Or more than one listing.
Yeah, that is really great because you can actually select 3 or 4 and text them to somebody or share on social media.
Each instance of Matrix being different, that's something unique to Houston. Nobody in the country has that text and share feature. That's something that Taki and our in-house development crew has built, and then again integrated it into Matrix. So we're lucky here in Houston to have a technology department like we do.
Yeah, absolutely. That looks like it's it. Anything else, Shawn, that you want to share with us?
I think we covered everything
we
Matrix
did.
Today.
A lot of Matrix updates and just really great things that are coming.
Yeah, I would say
just
keep the feedback coming. There's a feedback tab at the top of every Matrix page, and that's a lot of our ideas come from members like you that are watching, and we appreciate your feedback, and we're here to continue to make the system better for our members.
Even some of the reports, right? You guys developed reports based on member feedback, like the showings report.
We did the showings report. All the financial reports, those are custom to Houston. That's something we developed in-house as well, and it's a little more robust than the other subscribers across the country have access to.
Okay, great. So if you have suggestions or feedback, just submit it and they will take a look at it.
That's right.
Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, that is it for this morning. Next Monday at 9 a.m., we will have Marilyn Wilson from the Wave Group. She'll be talking to us about all things consumers, so that's going to be an exciting one. Be sure to tune in next Monday. Thank you. Have a great week.